Do a little personal experiment tomorrow morning. Pay attention to how many times someone tries to sell you something. Watch for messages you encounter from when you wake up in the morning until you're in class. These messages could come from the TV, the computer, the radio, billboards, your phone. Then consider who the target audience was for that marketing campaign. Was it geared to youth, moms, senior citizens? All of those messages are part of marketing. Marketing is the activity of presenting products or services in such a way as to make them desirable. It's important to be aware of how marketing tries to influence us so that we can be more informed. We're going to go through a list of various advertising techniques that are used to influence your behavior. As we go through these techniques, try and think of marketing that you have seen use the techniques. And did it work? Did they convince you to consume their product? One way that producers can be very subtle in marketing their products is to use product placement. That's the practice of placing brand name items as props in movies, TV shows, or music videos as a form of advertising. Pay attention to how an actor holds, say, a drink can. Can you clearly see the label? Then chances are the company paid to have that product in the show. Another technique we can identify is the use of endorsements or testimonials. Often an actor or a sports star will be used to endorse a product. Then we think we can be as awesome as the celebrity if we consume that product. A testimonial has someone talking about their personal experience with the product. Think of people in the commercials being interviewed on the streets saying that they like a product. Those testimonials are often made by regular people, so we call this plain folks appeal. Because you see people like you who are happier with the product, so that must mean that you're going to be happier. So sometimes the focus is on having the people you look up to convince you that you need that product. Other times they will use people just like you to make you feel comfortable consuming that service or product. Now, when the testimonial has a sports star or an actor endorsing the product, we might listen to them, but they may not be believable. What's more believable is having someone who actually knows about the product explaining why we need it. We call this authority. For example, if we're advertising a tractor or a truck, advertisers are going to have a farmer talk about it and not a movie star because the farmer has authority. Really obvious marketing comes in the form of glittering generalities. This is where they use appealing words without giving any concrete idea about what's being advertised. The words used have an emotional appeal and don't necessarily state anything logical or in a direct manner. Statements like, "Our miracle lotion gives you soft skin," or "Our magical drink will help you lose weight," are examples of glittering generalities. They use words like magical and miracle to emphasize how good their products are. Very similar to glittering generalities are buzzwords, which are popular but vague, like extreme or pure and natural. They really don't mean much, but they sound snazzy. Have you ever heard the term 21st century learning? Well, that's an educational buzzword. Also, the use of loaded words will create strong emotional appeal. For example, wasteful or protect your family. These words will often give you a sense of urgency or fear. It's a limited time offer. Hurry, supplies won't last. Emotional appeal can also apply to the use of sex appeal, which is widely used in our Western media. Scientific appeal is used in advertising to persuade you to buy a product not because of emotion, but because of logic. Often they'll use facts and figures to impress you, but a lot of times those numbers don't really mean very much. But you know what? You put somebody in a lab coat, it's more likely you're going to believe them. A truly smart consumer will always try and get the best deal. Well, at least that's what we're told in our consumer society. Often advertisers try and convince you that a little extra is being added just for you. You're going to get more for your money through free bargains or reward programs. You might be two and get the third free. Remember, the seller is always making money because the price you paid for that first item is enough to cover the cost of any free items that you're getting. Have you ever noticed on TV or the radio when an ad plays twice in a row or within the same ad they keep saying the same thing over and over again? Well, the use of repetition works in two ways. One is it's going to stick in your head and help you remember the important part of the ad. In addition, the more we hear a message, the more likely we are to believe that it's true. Dictators love to use this advertising technique to get and keep the support of their citizens. Transference is the technique of projecting positive or negative qualities onto an object to make it seem more or less desirable. For example, a minivan ad will often have a happy family as part of the advertisement, as the desire for a happy family will be transferred to the qualities of a car, which is really just a bunch of metal and plastic. Another technique is the use of name calling, where they will explain to you why a competitor's product is so inferior to their product. By the way, this advertising technique drives me crazy, and I will purposely not purchase or boycott products that use this technique. Finally, there's the bandwagon effect, which encourages you to buy a product or service because everybody else is. You don't want to be left out, do you? The goal of any business is to make money, so businesses will try any advertising trick they can to convince you that you need to buy more of their product or take advantage of their services. Being aware of how you are being manipulated can help you to really consider whether you want the product or if a company is telling you you want the product.